I was on Facebook the other night, and this ad showed up to me, and it caught my eye. So well done them for making this ad. And what I thought was particularly interesting was that first line: over 1 million men and professional athletes trust Manscaped. So you've got two kinds of proof going on there, right? You've got 1 million men, so that's social proof of people who are using the Manscaper. And then you've got professional athletes, which I assumed was an appeal to authority. Like, professional athletes are somehow an authority on manscaping. It just hit my ear at a funny angle, and I couldn't help myself but go and look at the landing page. And I thought the landing page was an excellent example of a landing page done badly. So if these guys have actually sold 1 million units of this clipper, then in my opinion, they've sold that well in spite of their marketing, which makes them a fantastic opportunity, right? If they improve their landing page, I reckon they'd do a whole lot better. So, of course, I went and looked at their landing page, and this is the Australian version of, actually, that's not the Australian version. That's the American version, which again, if you go to their page, so you see this, the Lawnmower 3.0 is available now. But if you go over to the Australian version, here's your first problem. When you scroll down, you'll see that they're only offering the 2.0 version of the Manscaper, which would irritate me if this was something that I wanted to buy. But let's have a look at this landing page standing on its own, not just next to the American version. So it looks great. And this is often what I see when you go to a landing page. It looks great and you think, oh, okay, these guys have really nailed it. But people aren't just going to buy because it looks great. They're probably going to read some of it as well. And if what they're reading isn't convincing, then you're working against your great design. So the design to me speaks to men. It's black. It's manly. There are some reviews lower down the page, supposedly of women who've bought the Manscaper for their men. But I would infer from this that your target audience is men. So your headline, the best below the waist grooming. My question to that would be, is that what the man who buys this clipper really wants? Does he want below the waist grooming, or does he want what below the waist grooming is allegedly going to deliver for him? Some of the things that they say later on in this page. And, my guess would be that you're probably not grooming yourself below the waist if you live alone on a remote property with no prospect of meeting anybody. So my suspicion would be that there's probably some connection between your below the waist grooming and you're hoping to meet somebody, and I would be thinking about having that up the top here. Your subheading, when manscaping, always use the right tools for the job. Well, kind of duh. If you read onto the page, they do talk about what happens potentially if you're not using the right tools for the job down there. But I think most of us would pretty much know that already. You wouldn't want to be down there with a pair of rusty shears. So if that's a given, then that headline is a waste of space, because you could be saying something, much more convincing at this point than just you don't want to use the wrong tools for the job, which would be true in any situation, right? Nobody does any kind of job and thinks, what I want to use the wrong tools, right? So one of my axioms is, if you wouldn't say the opposite, don't bother to say the thing. Don't say you're passionate about customer service if nobody would ever say they weren't passionate about customer service. Nobody's going to write a website where they say, customer service, we could take it or leave it. So you're just wasting the space. Similarly, a precise trim. Okay, is that what people want? I don't know. I didn't have the brief for this page. I'm only forming a hypothesis and exploring it with you. But to me, a precise trim, I don't know that that's number one on what people want. Not getting cut to shreds, if you're going to get super practical about it, is probably what they want. So proper manscaping requires precision engineering tools. Not only does a man's sensitive areas require it, so that's not grammatically correct, but hygiene and ergonomics demand it. So this is an assertion that they're making. They are asserting that if you don't have a precision engineered pair of clippers, your hygiene will suffer, and this thing called ergonomics, which they don't explain. So it's quite a big word that they don't explain, and they don't explain the connection. So you've made an assertion, and then maybe you go on to prove it, and maybe you don't. My recollection of my first go through this page is that they don't go on to improve it. I thought it was fascinating that they compare two models next to each other, but one is a model that you can't buy. So again, you might as well have three models. On the left, the rusty pair of shears. In the middle, the lawnmower that you can't, get anyway. And then on the right, the only product you can actually buy. So you're comparing a thing that I can't have with a thing that I can have. And that doesn't, particularly make sense to me. So you've moved from tough shear trademarked blades on the one that I can't have to skin safe trademark technology blades on the other one. I don't know. It's not clear to me what that means, why one is better than the other. You've gone to all the trouble of trademarking tough shear, but then you've moved between that model and this model to something else that you're also claiming as a trademark. So the trademark is a good little bit of proof, right? It sort of sends a signal to you that, this is serious. We're using this as a trademark. And it's an element of proof that at Taleist we use ourselves, right? We like to see a little bit of a trademark against something that's been made up because it makes it sound proprietary, unique, and it goes to that idea of having a unique mechanism for doing what you want. But you also need to explain what it is. The TM on its own doesn't do it. So if you just start throwing a TM around afterwards, it looks like you've randomly sprinkled TMs around your page. So the Lawnmower 2.0 is an electric trimmer worthy of getting up close and personal with your family jewels, designed and made specifically for below-the-waist grooming. It's the right tool for the job. Skin-safe technology reduces the odds of accidental nicks. All assertion, no proof. This is what it is. We're not going to prove anything to you, except we're going to reference this skin-safe TM thing that we haven't explained, which reminds me a little bit of the sort of ads for cosmetics and creams and lotions and things where they have clearly invented a word, they say that's in it, and they say that makes it better, but they don't bother to explain to you what this clearly made-up word has to do with anything. But again, visually, this looks great. So you've got two things that look very well designed next to each other. That's got a proof element about it. But when you actually start reading it, you're just getting facts. You're getting features, and you're not getting any benefits. We go down to how many strokes per minute it does. And you've gone from 4,000 strokes per minute with the lawnmower to 6,000 for the Lawnmower 2.0. Is that better? I mean, what does that mean? Am I going to be manscaped 50% faster? Cordless runtime, 15 minutes, 60 minutes on one charge. 15 minutes, I don't know, sounds like a long time to be manscaping myself to me. So that actually sounds adequate. 60 minutes of manscaping sounds like a lot more time than I would want to be spending with a lawnmower running all over myself. Battery type, okay. Now this I thought was amazing. So you get down here, they're like, we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're finished with that. We haven't given you a button to buy. Like if you go up here, there's no button to buy. So if you've convinced me that I need the 6,000 strokes per minute version, there's no button for me to do it. I scroll down expecting to get the button because I've made the decision, and I don't. We're on to three completely different products here. So, that to me was a bit weird. Okay, you've got these things, and again, I won't go through all of them, but, I remember this bit was particularly interesting to me. Oil-free moisturizing deodorant. So, you've got three things going on there. It's oil-free. Why does that matter? It's moisturizing. Is lack of moisture down there a big problem? Deodorizing creates an anti-chafing barrier. So a moisturizer can create an anti-chafing barrier that reduces bacterial growth. Look, I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but I don't have these problems. So, potentially this is a massive area, the chafing and the bacterial growth. So I don't know what I can say, but there's a whole load of assertion there and not a lot of proof. You've got your trust signs down here. It's cruelty free, okay. Paraben free, maybe you know what that means. I don't, so it doesn't mean anything to me. It's dye free, yeah, okay. It's vegan, again, not my area, so I don't know. Maybe these things are important, but again, we've had a whole load of assertion. We've gone from one product to completely different products. Do you have to have these things together? Are you only properly manscaped if you've used the lawnmower and you've used the crop reviver and the anti-chafing ball deodorant? I don't know. But you're still not getting an opportunity to buy. Like, there's no call to action here. It's like, yeah, we finished telling you about that, so can we tell you about the charity that we support? Okay. But maybe I just wanted to buy. I don't know. It's good that you've got a mission. Is this a big persuader? Like, do you have somebody who was teetering on the edge of manscaping themselves and applying their anti-chafing deodorant, wasn't quite certain, but is now going to do it because some percentage of this will go to the Testicular Cancer Society? Maybe. I loved these proofy looking percentages down here because, again, somebody skimming maybe is going to see 85, 80, 89, go, okay, that sounds great. But if you actually read it, here's my question, because you can only form a hypothesis. It's apparent I'm not in the target audience for this, or if I am, I'm resisting it. So maybe you're in the target audience and you see things differently from me, and I would love to know what you think. But 85% of women think bad grooming is a major turnoff. I'm going to guess they're talking about grooming. Like, how well groomed are you? Do you shave? Do you cut your hair? Do you have a deodorant? I don't imagine that 85% is specific to your below the waist grooming. Although 80% of women think men should manscape below the belt. Interesting. Not sure it's true. So again, I have this problem where your proof needs proving. I don't believe that. And you've just said independent study. Okay, that's as much authority as you're prepared to put on it. So if I'm looking at your proof and I'm thinking bullshit, then you need to prove your proof. So you've actually possibly disconnected from somebody who might have been along the way to deciding in your favor. 89% of men think good grooming is essential to their professional success. What is your profession in which the grooming you do below the belt affects your professional success? There are not many jobs, and none of them, I would argue, is a profession where your grooming below your belt is going to affect your chance of success. So that is arrant bullshit. So again, I'm not in the target market, but I can't believe that even somebody in the target market is finding that truthy and persuasive. However, here we go. We've moved on from that now. We've left all that behind, and we're offering, free boxes and a toiletry bag, and now we're down at the sales part. I'm going to get my lawnmower too, my crop preserver, my crop reviver, my magic mat, and I'm going to have spent, a mere $130. I'm going to have saved 44%. It's not explained why am I saving 44%. So, depending on where you are and your level of cynicism about product discounts, it's like you've not even, as far as I can see, said we're discounting it because it's Labor Day, or because it's a Tuesday and we love to do this on a Tuesday. You've just gone, it's 44% off, which, if you have a cynical consumer, in my opinion, is going to be read as it was never $231.94, because that's a pretty odd price anyway. Who goes, you know what, I think we'll price this at $231.94, and then we'll whop 44% off by 44% and make it $129. So again, depends on the cynicism of your audience. Then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get some free gifts. The free gift is called the shed. If you're getting the travel and storage bag, and you're getting the boxes, and then you can put your boxer size, and there you go. And then you've got this other stuff, and then you've got these reviews. Reviews, great. Social proof, fantastic. I like it in the sense that, where they've got this, was this review helpful? You can see giant gobs of people are saying it wasn't helpful. The best product. Husband is all about his hygiene and so appreciates having this product. TY Manscaped. 7 people have said that wasn't helpful. I think it's interesting that, just on this screen alone, 40% of the reviews are from women. Anyway, I mean, that's just kind of, interesting. My balls thank me and my wife thanks Manscaped, but that's from somebody called Sabrina. So, I don't understand how that works, but there you go. So you can make what you like of this social proof, but if the social proof is slightly unbelievable, then you're potentially going to lose people. And you got 5 bits of social proof there. All have given 5 stars, and some read a little bit oddly, but you can scroll on, you can get more reviews. So look, that's what I think of Manscaped. As I say, it caught my attention because they served it to me on Facebook, presumably because I'm a man. But I'd be interested to know what you think.